Justin Jefferson's got 35. A.J. Brown's got 32. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Tyreek making 30. That's not enough for Tyreek.
Well, he's not really making 30. He's making 25. The last year's a fake year. We'll talk about Tyreek later.
Then don't sign a deal with fake years.
Wildes is out here.
But I'm saying if my boss gave me a deal and it's like, and by the way, in year 5, you're making...
I'd check your deal to
my
see
deal
if that
ironclad.
Okay, but go ahead.
Does this cement Dallas as having a bad offseason? Greg, you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. It cements them as having a bad offseason. When your best offensive player is not signed, and you didn't make any moves to back the statement of we're all in.
Did the opposite of that, actually.
You've done correct.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't go and get a running back. You didn't go and address a running back even in the draft. You go get Zeke Elliott.
Still got a little left. A little bit.
It's a little spot duty.
Sure.
But they didn't address that. They went backwards at the running back position.
And so when you have a guy who now all of a sudden had the best year in Cowboy receiver history, you paved the way. You moved Amari Cooper out the way to give this young man the opportunity to say, you know what, let's see if you're a number one. He shows you he's a number one. Your most valuable offensive asset, in my opinion, and a lot of the Cowboy fans' opinion on that offense, and you choose not to pay him going into year 5, this is exactly what he was set up to do. He did everything that he was supposed to do, and you choose not to pay him. And all you're doing, if you're Jerry Jones, is allowing the price tag to go up.
And it clearly has.
It's clearly going up, and it will continue to go up because if they go into training camp, and I do believe he'll be done before the season starts. I believe that. However, when you look at what his value is in comparison to even some of these other guys, it's skyrocketing. The more you allow Dak Prescott to be without him, it's just going to continue to increase.
Yeah, listen, they got absolutely nothing done this offseason, and they managed to at least temporarily go backwards with one of their 3 most important players. Because you now have one of your guys holding out. So that this 100% cements they had a bad offseason. And Jerry's line was, or Stevens, I think it was Jerry's, it's probably Jerry's because it's a little folksy, was like, we're waiting for more leaves to fall. Well, now the only leaves really that haven't fallen are Cowboy leaves, and they actually work against each other. Because the highest paid defensive player in football is Nicky Bosa at $34 million per. The highest paid non-quarterback in football is Justin Jefferson at $35 million per. So CeeDee wants to beat Justin. And then once he gets signed, guess who Micah wants to beat? CeeDee. No, CeeDee, because he'll want to be the highest paid non-quarterback. They both, you are in a position now where you're going to pay 35, just call it for round numbers, $35 million each. Because Nicky's at 34, Justin's at 35. So these guys are going to both come in around $35 million because you've waited this long. You have painted yourself into a corner where the only way you are going to be able to keep the 3 most important players on your roster is to hand out the biggest contract in the history of the NFL for defensive players, the biggest or tied for the biggest contract in the history of the NFL for wide receivers, and far and away the biggest contract for any player to Dak Prescott. That's the only way you're going to be able to keep all 3 guys. And the reason, to kind of supplement what Greg was saying, Wildes, it's so indefensible, is none of this should have snuck up on you. When you draft a player in the first round, the moment you draft him, you should be like, man, we hope that we're going to give him a huge bucket of money in 3 or 4 years because it means they worked. It's not as if this was a 4th-round pick who all of a sudden in his contract year had 20 sacks and you're like, geez, we didn't budget for this. We didn't see it coming. You saw it coming with CeeDee. You obviously knew it was coming with Micah the moment he got on the field. And with Dak, if you want to keep him, you've known this clock was ticking and they got none of it done. So it's indefensible.
All right. So, Greg, we've kind of floated out that he wants Justin Jefferson money. Do you think that's the case?
Of course.
Yeah.
He's
obvious.
When you
is he as good as Justin Jefferson?
Can we please look at these numbers for CeeDee Lamb? Because I have a full screen of his numbers. And when you look at these numbers, now, none of us probably at this table would say he's better than Justin Jefferson.
That's what I'm saying.
When healthy. But when you look at these numbers last season, and this is what he's going to put in front of him on the deck.
Justin Jefferson
he's going to say, hey, this is what I was. This is who I am. targets first, receptions first, yards second, touchdowns third. He had the best, and then on top of that, the icing on the cake, I put up the best numbers in this uniform in franchise history.
Different NFL.
That's fine.
It doesn't matter, though.
But let me ask you in a different way, Wildes. Do you think, even if none of us would say he's better than Justin Jefferson, because I think most people think Jefferson, at worst, is the second best receiver in football. Him and Tyreek Hill are, to me, really the only two options to answer that question. Do you think he's better than A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb?
I do. I don't think he's better than Jamar Chase.
Okay, well, Chase hadn't gotten paid yet, so okay, great. Chase is not in camp. He's not getting paid. Hasn't gotten paid yet. He's going to. My point is this. A.J. makes 32. So even if he ends up not quite getting to Justin Jefferson, maybe I overstated it slightly. He's not the highest paid receiver ever, second highest receiver. He's going to clear A.J. Brown. He's going to get a minimum of 34 and a maximum of 36 million. That $2 million is not going to be the difference for the Cowboys. Like, they have put themselves in this position where, because they waited until after Devontae and A.J. and Waddle, all these guys got paid, and then Justin Jefferson, and they might end up waiting until after Jamar Chase gets paid. I don't know if Chase might have to wait a whole year. It's just going up.
The team's most overrated player. He got 251 votes, 100 more than Micah. This is also poor Zeke there. Come on, guys.
Well, what?
Not overrated.
Well, by you, he clearly is.
He had a good year for the Patriots.
No, there you go. That's why. Your commentary is pure.
Deron
100%
Bland
might be a little overrated. Okay. Those pick sixes probably not going to duplicate.
I know, but he was hunting. Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you agree Dak is overrated?
Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Dak is definitely overrated as it pertains to Dallas Cowboys, for sure. If we just look at from the offense, he's not the best offensive player on his own team. That's CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's not on there. But I think when you look at things like this, the Cowboy fan base is just over Dak, just like their executive officers are.
It seems
like if you don't have a quarterback that you're saying he is our guy and he is up for a contract extension and you don't extend him. Because even all this that we're talking about with CeeDee, what's going to come up with Micah, it could be pretty much it could have been alleviated a little bit if you had one of them signed. Right. Primarily your quarterback, because that's typically who you sign first. But the fan base knows, like, look, we're done with Dak too. Because he's one of the longest tenured Cowboys. So at the quarterback position, where have they struggled in the postseason?
Right.
At the quarterback position. The team has struggled, but primarily, we look at the quarterback of carrying the most weight. Dak Prescott, he can have another outstanding regular season.
Well, that's what's amazing about this conversation is that if you see in small print right above the question his numbers from last year, Wildes, put on your readers and you'll see it, but it's 36 touchdowns, 9 picks. It seems unfair. I don't think it's unfair, but it is crazy how much a difference one single football game made.
I'm going to have a count. I'll finish. Let you finish, but then I have a counter.
Dak had, by any measure, the best season of his career. The only one that came close was his rookie year when he was a different type of player, but was highly successful and efficient, and was awful for 3 hours on I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, probably Sunday Cowboys game, Sunday afternoon, January, and now everyone's done with him seemingly. Now, oddly, I actually think when it comes to shows like this, national media, I think Dak is one of the only properly rated quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he's overrated. I don't think he's underrated. I think most people have him properly rated, which is he's obviously good. He's obviously not great. There are 15 teams in the league that would clearly improve at quarterback, at least in the short term. Maybe they have a developmental guy or whatever, by adding Dak Prescott. But it is hard to see him ever cracking consistently that top 5 that you need to live in once you're paid like that in order to be, as coach would say, a force multiplier. So, I think that the most properly rated quarterbacks in football are like Dak, Kirk, Tua. Guys that I think everyone kind of knows where they are. Nobody's like, that guy stinks, he's awful, but also knows that, okay, so Dak's like a round 10 Tua and Kirk are probably a little bit behind him, and that's where it is. And so I don't think he's underrated or overrated. I think he's properly rated, but it's $60 million a year. That's a problem.
Okay, so here's Josh came in and dropped this full screen into my office.
Okay.
I said, "Ooh, Josh, this is really good." I thought this was fascinating. This is the last 4 years, including the playoffs. The guy has won one game as an underdog. And what this speaks to me is...
Tomato cans? Where's Bruce?
Well, it's a little bit of tomato cans. It's a little bit, you're beating up on tomato cans. It's a little bit, you're probably being penalized for being an excellent team and a favorite a lot of times. But you are also being exposed as delivering no surprises. Just none. Just when we're underdogs, we lose. He is not going to rise above who we think he is.
And that's...
And do even Patrick Mahomes, who is the active GOAT, will over deliver sometimes.
Well, that's why, yeah. I mean,
but and I'm saying Dak Prescott, if you're 1 in 10 as an underdog, it just is never happening.
So I have a different explanation for that.
Let's hear it.
They're never underdogs at home. That's it. I think that is.
They're never underdogs at home, so they can't win it.
Yeah,
because they're too good at home.
No, right. So they are. We can check. I bet the Cowboys in the last 3 years have been a home dog once. That would be my guess.
Sure.
One time. And so that is 1 in 10 is stark, but I would think that 3 and 8 wouldn't be that outside the norm, because when you're on a consistently really good team, you are only the underdog when you're playing an excellent team on the road.
Yeah, but you don't win those.
But the fact that you never win those, I think, is a blight on McCarthy as well, as far as the surprises and game plans.
Can I do a before you go, Greg?
Yeah.
Josh, can I give you an assignment? Can you look up to see if the Cowboys are going to be underdogs at home against the Ravens week 3?
What? No. I'll tell you right now, no.
You already bet that?
No, I'm just telling you, the Cowboys won't be. The only team in the NFL the Cowboys would be a home underdog against would be Kansas City, and it'd be close.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong, Josh. I haven't looked at it.
I'm going to hammer that Ravens line. Hammer it.
But that's like $7, $8.
The problem,
it's 3x.
The problem with Dak Prescott and a lot of quarterbacks in this league, there's this guy at the top of the mountain. I'm not gonna say his name.
Jamar Chase.
But he wears red.
Okay.
Okay, Wildes?
Yeah.
He's a pretty good quarterback. Everybody's trying to beat that guy. There's only one that has beaten that guy. And what is happening across the league is every quarterback is being judged based on, do we think he can get it done against that guy? Do we think he has enough what it takes? Is he a difference maker? You mentioned this. Like, he doesn't tip the scale. Yeah. Dak Prescott just doesn't tip the scale.
Which is why it's $60 million. It's not tenable. So Dusty just told me last time they were underdogs at home was week 2 of 2022. I think that was without Dak, though. I think that was because Dak didn't in week 1. Dak break his thumb and he missed 5 weeks. So they have been home underdogs twice in their last 27 games. One, I believe, was the season opener against Tom Brady, and the other was the next week without their starting quarterback. And so they're not. And again, we'll see if they're. I'd be shocked if they're underdogs at home against Baltimore. Well, so why didn't he just say Joe Burrow? They didn't tell him who number 1 was.
No.
The question was, can you guess who's number 1? And I remember Jamar Chase last year being on the board for saying, among many things, Joe Burrow's the best quarterback in football. Listen, Joe Burrow didn't get worse because he got hurt. And what happened? Here's what I don't understand. Here's what I want to know.
Here we go.
What happened to this Jamar Chase energy? The last 2 Bengals seasons have, of course, been ended by the Kansas City Chiefs. Once in the AFC title game, and last year on New Year's Eve when they needed to win to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they lost. And Jamar got in a little scrap with great Chief L'Jarius Sneed during the game, and then afterwards seemed totally unbothered. So you just were eliminated from the playoffs by the team that eliminated you from the playoffs literally the previous year. For the second straight year since the last time his team was in a Super Bowl and kind of choked it away, he watched a team that he considers their rival, a team that I'm sure he didn't think in that moment was that good and had anything going on that season, go on and win another Super Bowl. And now Patrick Mahomes is Candyman? You can't say his name or else fear of what's going to happen. You can't even lie to the camera and say Joe Burrow's better. So you can't do that, and you can't say just Patrick Mahomes' name. So I just want to know what happened to Jamar Chase. Because that's not the energy I'm used to having from Jamar Chase,
Bad luck,
Greg.
Greg. It's bad luck.
Look, number one, who was this quarterback in that game?
Yeah.
Jake Browning. That's
Okay.
got.
Okay, so he wasn't on the field with his guy.
Okay, but no, but the last time they played, he was.
Yeah, the last time.
Yeah.
But this year, the question wasn't is Joe Burrow better than Patrick Mahomes or who's number one? It's who do you think is number one?
Yeah.
That's going to be revealed. I mean, Joe Burrow has already been revealed.
What?
So he knows it's not his guy. He said Joe Burrow, naming the guy that he feels like in his heart is really truly the number one. But
He doesn't think Joe Burrow is number one. He knows Patrick Mahomes is number one.
That's why he wouldn't say it.
He knows it.
He knows it, and that's why he's bothered.
guys,
What?
if you're going to ask a receiver who has a quarterback that's one of the best in the business, unless he's Kirk Cousins and you got Justin Jefferson, he's not going to say Kirk Cousins.
What? Okay.
But Jamar Chase is going to say Joe Burrow.
Then why didn't he?
He's terrified.
Because he knows Patrick Mahomes is going to be revealed as one.
So, okay.
Can I tell you, this is why I need a part-time job. Media consultant. Say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to answer. Let me call my consultant. And I'm there, available 24 hours a day when you get tough questions. And this is what I would have said. Rick, can we go just to my camera? I'm going to.
Oh, wow.
Say, well, I know the list probably has Patrick Mahomes as number one, and that makes sense. He's reigning Super Bowl champion. But you know, my guy, when they play head-to-head, goes right up against him, and he's won 3 times and put up better numbers in pretty much every category. So if you're asking me, Jamar Chase, who's better? Well, the numbers don't lie. My guy, Joe Burrow.
So why didn't he say that, Wiles?
Because that's why I'm here. That's why it's me and Josh putting it all together. Like, that is an argument.
It's not, but you sure.
Well, that's definitely an argument. Career head-to-head, one guy, it's 3-1. If it was reverse, we would say it's a wipeout. The Super Bowls. I'm a Super Bowl wins guy too.
No, I'm not a Super Bowl wins. I'm also less interested in things that happened. That Aaron Rodgers thrown for 300 yards more recently than I think Joe Burrow's beaten Patrick Mahomes. So I'm just telling you.
It's an argument.
But I just want to go back to something real quick, Greg. How long did you play in the league?
10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
In that 10 years, I don't want to put you on the spot, but how many players in the league were you afraid to say their name?
None.
Okay, so why?
It was not a good look.
Why?
Well, so
why?
He's not afraid.
What do you
say
mean?
His name.
Then why didn't he say? Then what is it?
He's choosing. He's choosing not to.
Okay.
It wasn't
all right.
cool.
It seems a
He's
little
not
salty.
afraid to say his
we
name.
got a group of college kids in here. I think the young people parlance is definitely salty, and that's what he seemed like. Yeah, I'm correct. He's and okay. It's not the same energy that I'm used to seeing from Jamar Chase. That's all. Okay. That's all. I know we want to talk bigger picture Bengals stuff, but
no, I wasn't going to talk bigger picture.
Oh, we're not?
That was just going to be it. Yeah.
Oh, well then we have to bring out the board.
Well, that's what I was waiting for.
Okay. Well, no, I thought we were doing a whole other topic.
Kind of changed it.
I mean, Jamar Chase. What was he on here for last year, Dust? Let me see. Oh yeah, Pat. The last time. He said Pat Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's just each year he cuts off part of his name. This year he won't even say the name. It's 2 Bengals built to beat them again. Yes, like during damn near Obama administration, and then a lot of stuff on here. All right, Mahomes.
Okay.
Won't even say his name, like Candyman.
Oh, I get. I was wondering what I thought.
No, he won't say Mahomes. I like having Bengals on there. I like having Bengals on there. It's nice for them. The pinnacle of their franchise history is one game they won in overtime. I love it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.